All right. Hi, everybody. It's Brian Powers, New Jersey Revolution Radio. Shake my face, hey. And we're taking some pictures here. The organizers from NJ21 United, a lot of teachers, of course, good friend from the Badass Teachers Association, Melissa Tomlinson, Dan Cummings, and a bunch of other organizers are down here today to march or to do a auto march in Trenton to speak out for teachers and their working conditions being unsafe to return to. I'm going to turn around a little bit, and we've got a crowd gathering. I'm not sure exactly when the speakers, but I was told we're going to have a few speakers here in the parking lot. We're here at the New Jersey State Department of Education building, and then I believe after that, they're going to go ahead and take the caravan around to Governor Murphy's office, which is only about a half a mile from here. So we'll take a look at the procession, walk a little around, and see what we can see. You can see they got a hearse here. And I think, look, this is dramatic, but it is trying to demonstrate that, teachers' lives are being put at risk. I don't know what the numbers here in New Jersey are, but I know that I read that over 70 teachers in New York City alone died because of the virus. And so, saying that they're trying to save life is not an exaggeration. We have a comrade right here who looks like she may be taking a picture or live streaming herself. Hi, Melissa. You have time to talk to New Jersey Revolution Radio? All right. So, as we all know, Melissa Tomlinson from the Badass Teachers Association. Let's back out of traffic then. Hey, comrade. How are you? So, how much have you been involved with the organizing of this event leading up?
I've been involved for a while.
Okay. And you're my first interview for the day, so it'd be great to hear, what exactly the plans are and what the message is behind the protest today.
Okay, so, the governor put out his road plan back for reopening schools in September, and there was a lot of leeway in his language, where applicable, where possible, kids would distance, face masks would be worn when they could. It made us feel very unsafe. And then as those plans went down district to district, districts started making things look different all over the place. And we realized that there was no set standards in place for the safety of our students and the safety of our staff. And not only that, there's no metric that says, okay, yes, now it's safe for us to reopen for face-to-face instruction. So, as time went on, we got really nervous about putting our students in danger and what responsibility that puts on us. Those students could come in the classroom, they could get the virus from one another. We know children are very asymptomatic and are actually very good carriers. So we don't want them to go home and take it to their families and one of their caregivers at home who may be immunocompromised, may be in danger of their life, losing their life from this virus. So we're making a statement. We're standing with cities all across the country today to demand safe schools and to demand equity for our students so that we can get back to a productive economy, right? So what looks good in a suburban district is not always possible in an urban district. So that means that we're going to be creating a wider gap, right? Our white students are going to be safer than our black and brown communities. And our black and brown communities are the ones that are more greatly impacted by the virus. So we need to put a stop to this now. So we're going to be driving our car caravan in front of the governor's office, in front of the State House, and in front of the New Jersey Department of Health, trying to make our message heard. And then some of us are circling back in front of the governor's office, and we have a wall of remembrance. So we're going to take a moment and recognize the over 400 lives of educators that were lost as a result of COVID. This probably won't be our last action, so stay tuned to NJ21 United for more actions coming up in the future.
Thanks a lot, Melissa. I appreciate it. And I'm going to ask a whole bunch more questions because you've been on the show so much. But we really appreciate the thoroughness of the report. We're going to get around today and watch the speeches as well.
Thanks a lot, guys.
So a little general overview of what's going on and echoing not just a local message, but a national message. If you take a look back, not even just a couple of weeks ago, we had Melissa on the show, and she talked more in depth about the national demands teachers are making regarding returning to work and children returning to schools. I don't know if Dan has a minute for me over here. Dan is running around like every organizer does during an event with a phone in hand or a clipboard and has no clue what's going on. But everything runs through him apparently because he's the guy How you doing, man? So
Good. How are you?
you were part of the organizing crew for this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on the NJ21 United strategy team. A couple weeks ago we had a big town hall. There was almost 400 people on the call, and it was pretty unanimous that people don't feel like it's safe to go back. So from there, we've been organizing a week of action. Started last week on Monday, just making some calls. On Tuesday, we were petitioning. Wednesday, social media, and then we had close to 20 actions on Thursday and Friday. We went to county superintendent's offices on Friday and found that most of them were empty. And the reason they're empty is because it's not safe to work in the office. And so if it's not safe to work in an office with, let's say, 10 people, it's not safe to go into a school with 100 or 500 or 1,000. I know myself, I love my job, and working remotely is not fun. But, it's important that we go back only when it's safe. We need to be working on right now making remote instruction the best it can be, and working on tackling this virus.
Cool. So one of the things I'm hearing most concerned about is the economic disparities, and I've even heard parents like, "What am I going to do with my kids?
Exactly.
I'm getting put back to work. I don't have the money for daycare." And this is not a new thing.
Right.
Has there been a response from the administration on these economic disparities?
Brian, first of all, in this country, we have not wrapped our hands around this virus. We just passed this terrible turning point of 150,000 deaths the other day. We're trying to handle this with Band-Aids. What really needs to happen, Brian, is the government needs to step in and do either some kind of universal basic income until this is over, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to fix the economy on the back of educators and students, and that's just not going to work. And we sympathize with parents. They're our allies in this fight, and the government has put them in a difficult position by saying, "Do you want to put your kids back to school and expose them? Do you want to be able to work?" And so there really needs to be something done statewide, yes, but definitely on a federal level to address this issue.
That's great. Are you specifically supporting legislation like I know what they're talking about in Congress is just extending the $600, or even that they can't even get that done at this point? Is there a specific state legislation or federal legislation in the hopper that could provide some assistance, or is this still just trying to get them to recognize it?
There have been some proposals about a universal basic income, $2,000 a month for each person until this is over. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere in terms of legislation. There is some proposals related to rent relief and mortgage relief, but it's just not enough. It's just these Band-Aids in this crisis, and like you were saying, these are equity issues. So even before this, obviously, people from Black and brown communities were being disproportionately affected in this country, and that's just been exacerbated by this virus. And so there needs to be what they've been calling a whole of government approach to this, which is really addressing the issues that need to be addressed.
For sure. All right, Dan, thanks a lot, man. Good job today, man. It's a good turnout here. And we're looking at a sign. Dan jumped in front, but here we go. Hi, how are you?
How are you doing?
Who are you?
My name is Eileen. I'm a child study team worker. This is my friend, Amy Schneider, soon to be Dr. Schneider. She's a technology teacher in New Brunswick Public Schools.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
Governor Murphy. On his campaign trail. And his campaign trail. We campaigned for him. This is us at his dinner.
There you go.
This is us at his dinner, campaign for him.
Yep.
He said he was supporting NJEA educators. So we're here to help, but he supports us.
And what specifically are you looking for as far as support? Now, I know I've already talked to a few people about the organization demands and stuff like that, but in New Brunswick, I'm not far from Woodbridge, by the way. But what are you seeing in New Brunswick that needs to be fixed immediately or before
There's a lot of communication of what the standards and what the rules and regulations need to be for everybody. I think that's the first thing of everything. You can't have security, you can't have safety without a strong, straightforward communication and open door policy.
How about you? I mean, is there other issues that you're specifically keyed in on that need to be addressed in your school? Where do you teach at?
I prefer not
You don't
to
have to
say
say
because I don't have tenure.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm a child study team worker and I've already been in the building.
Right.
And I will tell you, it's very, very stressful.
It's extremely stressful.
Tell them that your mom and all that.
I'm also a widow with a son with autism. So, Governor Murphy, are you going to take care of my son if something happens to me? I'd like you to answer that question for me, because I'm an essential worker. We campaign for you. Call us. Call Sean Taylor. And we'll want to have a sit down with you.
Do you think he's slow to address your demands?
Absolutely. Yes, we do.
All right.
This has not been a good summer. Every single teacher is not sleeping. I'm not sleeping. She's not sleeping. We're scared to death. We're not prepared for this. We didn't sign up for this. You sign up to be a step man or step double.
Thank you very much for your
Thank you
time
so
today. I
much.
appreciate it.
Thank
And
you,
as a
sir.
parent, we support you too. So, some teachers' assistants, teachers' aides. I did see some. Hello, who wants to talk to New Jersey Revolution Radio? We did. I'm doing it now. So come on over here. Teresa, right? Either way, let's do it together. It's more fun in bunches.
Even though we're not.
There you go. Come on. Okay, sure. So, hi, how are you? And I'm
Hi.
Brian. You're with New Jersey. You're live on the air with New Jersey Revolution Radio.
Hi
And
everyone, my name is Teresa Fuller. I am a teacher from North Plainfield Education Association, and I'm here today as a member of NJ21 United strategy team because my husband and I are both immunocompromised, and we do not believe that schools should be open until it's safe. And a lot of people are saying it is safe, and I say no, that's not true. I'm a member of my district's reopening committee, and they're doing the bare minimum to get these schools open because the governor is telling them that they have to. And we're here today to say that they have the power to make a difference and to say, no, we're going to keep our students, we're going to keep our staff safe.
so you're, are you bargaining for safer conditions in your district? Or?
I'm the president of our local education association, and we do have a number of areas where we have to renegotiate our contracts because these things that they're asking us to do are against local contracts. Things like health and safety, things like using cameras in the classroom, things like start and end time. These are things that we negotiated, and they're trying to change them with the governor's directive, the Department of Education's directive.
What do you think is the driving factors to rush you back to school?
I think it's politics. I think that I know that Governor Murphy, we supported him, but I definitely think that there are a number of voters out there who want these schools open, but it's not safe to go back yet. And we're not babysitters, we're not guinea pigs, and I think we should do this only remote and do a phased-in approach in the meantime.
Well, thanks a lot for your time today. I know you had a comrade you wanted to interview as well.
Sure, thank you.
Let's go over. Thank you very much for your time. Let's go over and meet some more fine people here out at the protest today. Hi, how are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. You're live on New Jersey Revolution Radio.
Good morning.
And you are?
My name's Chrissy Kozar.
Okay, so
I'm from Washington Transit.
all right, Washington North or Washington? Where? There's a
Washington.
couple Washingtons.
Yeah, we're in Gloucester County.
Gloucester County.
Yeah.
So, we talked to some people about the general demands, the economic disparities out here today. Is there a particular condition that you're looking at in your school system that needs to be addressed? Or are you out here just for the general?
No, I'm here as a voice of our educational support professionals. We have literally worked during this pandemic. We've been in the schools. We have prepared meals for our free and reduced student community. We've delivered things. We have our IT specialists in there making sure that everyone's online. And it's not fair to put all the onus just on the teachers. We all care for our students. We all want it to be safe, and I want it to be safe for our educational support professionals. And I find that because we don't have adequate job protections currently, that many of our support professionals are actually feeling that they have to choose between keeping their job and not rocking the boat or putting food on the table for their families. So we really need to make sure that if we manage to get what we need, which is a slow introduction back into the classroom, that Governor Murphy takes care of our educational support professionals. We need to make sure that we still have a job at the end of this. We need to make sure that we are still employed to be able to support the students when they come back into the buildings. But moreover, we need to make sure that we can still service our students the way we have ever since the school's buildings closed. So it's very important that we do that.
So you're an activist. You're definitely somebody who likes to speak out, and you've been speaking out for some time. But in general, are teachers made to feel uncomfortable speaking out about these kinds of things? I mean, you mentioned like people feel that pressure. I mean, is there that like if you speak out, you might wind up on the wrong side of the administration?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's even stronger with support professionals because we are at-will employees. We don't have job protections. We don't have tenure. So we have to be very careful how we advocate. People lose their jobs because they rock a boat or they say the wrong thing or they speak out in advocating for their colleagues or speaking out against injustices. And this has to stop. We have to fight for dignity at work provisions, and we need to make sure that these staff are protected.
Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate your activism today. All right, so another teacher. I see some younger people hanging around, and I think that they're students, but then sometimes I ask them if they're a student, they tell me they're a teacher, which means I'm old. But is anybody here a student that would mind talking to the media real quick? On New Jersey Revolution Radio. We do live streaming, right? Yeah, it's a podcast, and I do live streaming. Yeah. I'll probably hand out some flyers in a little bit. I will definitely. All right. Sure, come on. Let's do this. They're gonna start speaking. Let's go right over here. So I got a few students with me. Nice to meet you. My name is Brian. I'm with New Jersey Revolution Radio, and we're just doing a little. You're live right now on the internet. So if you could just introduce yourself, where you're from.
My name is Jennifer. I'm from Richmond.
Richmond?
Yes.
Okay, where are you from?
My name is Kayla, and I'm also from Richmond.
Okay, are you both students, high school or college? What's that? College? All right, so what brings you out here today?
Our teachers, our fellow classmates, the school staff. We're here to support everyone because no one deserves to go through this because it's serious.
Have you seen local issues that you're worried about in your hometown, or did you just come out here because you heard the statewide call?
Personally, I'm here because my significant other is a teacher, and we were affected by COVID. His dad had COVID-19 and was in a coma for over a month. So sending him back into the field is possibly exposing his dad to something once again, which could result in something really negative. I also go to Shore Beauty School, and unless you are 50% done with your education there, they're demanding that you go back for hands-on education, which exposes them to clients and other students, especially when they do tours and walkthroughs, which they can then bring sickness to their homes that could result in them being in the same situation that my father-in-law was in, where they could be very, very sick in comas and even die.
Is he recovering now, or is
He's thankfully recovering now.
All right, well, I'm glad to hear that. In general, now you're younger. I've been talking to a lot of teachers. You're the first real students that I talk. How do kids feel about going back to school? I got kids myself, and they're mixed. They miss their friends and stuff like that, but they understand my kids are a little old enough to know the danger. I guess you're a little more connected to that older high school crowd. I mean, what's the general? Are they taking it seriously? First off, I guess, because kids kind of tend to be like, it's not going to happen to me.
There's many they miss the old life. They miss their routine of going back to school. But see how much it's affected our community and how many people they've lost that they know because smaller communities feel it the most too. So they are aware of it and they are scared for not only themselves but everyone around them, and they don't want to feel the loss of their teacher or their classmates. So they are understanding all of this and they would love to go back, but they know that they can't.
One of the things I've heard from the teachers a lot is the economic disparities. Pretty much the fact that if you're wealthy and you can afford childcare, you can stay home and do whatever. But if you have parents that work and they have to leave the house, they're almost forced to send their kids back into school. Is that part of the discussion with you guys, or is it more about going back to school? You have heard that.
I think it's definitely part of the discussion, especially from the community that we're from. One of the big parts, especially, is that we have a really big undocumented community who has to focus on their work because they don't get any type of help from anything, and they have to rely on themselves. So a lot of times it falls on the kids to be able to take care of things in the home. So when it comes to not having the accessibility that other people have, it is important for them to send their kids home, especially if they aren't in a place where they can help with homework and stuff like that, which virtual schooling sometimes needs. So it is a big issue. Also, Another thing that's really big with the undocumented community is that they're not getting the proper testing and stuff like that. So exposing kids to people who are in these situations just enhances the chances of people getting sick and people dying.
Well, thank you guys for taking a few minutes with me today. Thanks for coming out, and I'll give you some flyers later so you can find it. All right, thanks a lot. So it's nice to talk to students, and it's nice to know that they're aware of not just the dangers going on, but also, you know, the economic conditions and some of the other political issues at play here. It's something, you know, those of us that are parents and have had kids in school and have had frank discussions with teachers, it's always kind of disturbing for me to hear that teachers are being intimidated. The teachers fear for their jobs for speaking out. The teachers, you know, may fall in wrong with the administration if they have a certain opinion. You know, I always feel that teachers are the most important connection in that education process. They're the ones that spend every day, all day with your kids, right? And they're the best ones to talk to about how not just your, you know, your kids' personal education is going, but the overall system of education in general. And, you know, what I've heard from, you know, all this activism, and but also from talking to teachers in my life and, you know, having conversations with all the teachers, because I have so many kids, you know, all the teachers that have come in and out of our life. And in general, I'm always frustrated to hear how disrespected they are, how intimidated they are at times. And, you know, I'm really glad to see that, you know, the teachers movement across the country, of course, Chicago's teacher union is the big one, but I think in general, teachers unions across the country have taken charge and shown that, you know, collective power can make a difference, but still yet, I think there's a lot of work to be done from our politicians who, you know, you can hear it from the interviews, are simply not paying the best of attention to their issues and seem more concerned with politics, economics, and things like that. So we'll take a little walk through the crowd here. I'm not sure when speeches are going to get going, but I was told we're going to have some speeches at some point. But we'll take a look around at some of the decorations here. You know, and some of them. So here we've got Trust Science. Only when it's safe is the hashtag that they're using the most part. Protect our families. Try not to get license plates here. But who's paying for grief counseling when our students, staff, and family die? COVID. This is somebody that did lose a coworker from COVID. And like you said, Melissa put it. There you go. And, you know, as Melissa said, over 400. Nita, right? That's it. It's what?
My full name is Pranita.
Nita, that's right. I remember from the day. How you doing? I remember faces and conversations, and I just forget names.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And on Facebook, I'm Nita. Since I'm a teacher, my name is
You want to do an interview? I'm live streaming right now. You want to come on the network real quick? I have a comrade here. It's always nice, and you'll notice when you hang out on New Jersey Revolution Radio, I always run into comrades because they're everywhere, and the activist community is pretty strong. Here with Pranita, right?
Yeah.
And where are you from?
I live in Rahway. I teach in Central Jersey. I won't say where because I'm not representing my district necessarily. I'm here independently. So
cool. So we've talked around a little bit already. The big issues seem to be the economic disparities and safety, obviously. And rather than talk about like all the big issues, because I think in general it's screwed up, but locally in your school or even with your kids, I don't know if you have kids, like how are you seeing the school district react in your area? Is it different from other school districts? I mean, what's going on in your local town?
yeah, I don't have children myself, so I don't know too much specifically about my town, but I've heard like pretty much nothing from fellow public school employee friends. So it seems, you know, like a few districts here and there seem to have communicated specific plans. I know where I teach, I really haven't heard anything. There have been a couple of surveys that have been sent out. I know for myself, I'm really concerned about aerosol transmission. That's something one of the teachers within NJ21 United did a tremendous amount of research. And, you know, it's kind of like a three-pronged stool. There's the, you know, the droplets that you can use masks to kind of prevent, you know, for the most part. There's, of course, the surface transmission, but the aerosol transmission is just so much research in the last month or more. But really, to deal with that, the HVAC systems have to be fitted with MERV 13 or better filters, they say, plus supplemental air cleaners. So haven't heard anyone from any school district talk about their district implementing any plans for that kind of retrofitting of HVAC systems. And that's really the minimum. So when they talk about ventilation, ventilation is not just opening the windows, it's filtering the air.
Yeah.
So if you're not filtering the air, then that transmission is, considered a very potent way of getting the disease. I think more potent than the surface. They're more concerned about the aerosol transmission than the surface contact transmission. So that, concerns me tremendously. This is already August. School is just a month away. And to have no information about personal protective equipment, as well as, the scheduling, and even with a small number of students in class. I teach middle school, but, I can't even imagine. We can't even get the kids to bring pens and pencils to class. Will they bring masks? I'm sure they will have some on hand. But the fitting of the mask is very important, too. So if the mask is not properly fitted, what they've shown in studies is that the virus leaks out through the back. And some districts are only leaving 3 feet between desks. So that's not okay. And with aerosol transmission, it doesn't matter. 6 feet, 10 feet, 20 feet, it doesn't matter, because it's stale air that is not properly circulating and not properly filtered. You're going to, inspire the virus.
Appreciate that. So not only do you pay attention to your local, but I know you pay attention to a lot of national level politics. You've been around. We've met at the DNC.
Yeah.
Like I said, we hung out at the DNC for a while.
Yeah.
I heard Betsy DeVos speak. Why do you think she's such an idiot? I mean, I listened to this woman talk, and she's clearly only qualified because she has money. She basically said they're not going to lay out a national strategy because that's not necessary. States can handle it. This is a woman with tremendous power and responsibility. When you hear this idiotic rhetoric come out of her mouth, what goes through your head as an educator? I mean,
it seems all part of a ploy to get public monies diverted into charter schools and to private enterprise. COVID is just another excuse that, public schools don't open, then we'll just, give the money to charter schools. So it's a way of threatening us and trying to get wrenching that money out of public hands into private hands, into charter schools that are, don't serve, I guess the studies show that they really don't serve underprivileged students that they purport to do. So, I think she's just sort of put there to kind of be a pawn in a sense that she's just trying to get that money into charter schools. So.
Well, Priya, thank you very much for joining us today. It was good seeing you.
Coming and covering this event, it's going to be tremendous, and hopefully Governor Murphy will listen to all of our voices.
Hopefully, thank you very much.
Okay.
So, continuing on with the cars and the signs and everything. Hi, how are you? So the only when it's safe, I am anticipating some speakers soon. The way I see it, yeah, I'd survive it, but I might carry it to someone who won't, and that, folks, is the problem. And that's a very good definition, that we don't just risk, our own lives when we go out there. It's a good chance, and especially with children, because, I mean, I get different stories from everywhere on can children carry it, do children spread it effectively, all that kind of stuff. I'm good, thank you very much. Yes, I'm on my way. I'm doing a little walk around the park.
We're going to be starting here.
Okay, so I'm getting nudges now that we're going to start speakers here in a minute. So I get to shut up, which is fun because my mouth is getting sore. And I want to hand out some flyers, which is what I do. Just so you know, if you have an event happening in New Jersey, or even a little bit outside of New Jersey, we're happy to come cover it for you on New Jersey Revolution Radio. We'll walk around. We'll talk to the participants. We'll film your speakers. You can even put together a little video montage, and I think you're going to see one later on, maybe tomorrow morning, of today's events with some music and some speakers and stuff. So I'm looking forward now to listening to the speakers at this event. I am going to take a little break myself because it's hot and I need to take this fancy shirt. So I'm going to get behind the camera and we'll just sit here and wait.
We're going to get started now.
They're getting started now.
We got a couple of chants for you. So Adam's going to lead those.
All right, everybody, I'm Adam. I'm a teacher in Camden County. Everybody gather around. So this is the way it's going to work. I'll start it and you'll end it, but I'll teach it to you first. So we're going to start with this one. I'm going to say when you return, and you're going to say only when it's safe. All right, so let's practice. When will we return? 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 Only when it's safe. 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 All right, here's the next one. Where's Kristen? She disappeared. Kristen, Kristen's gonna do the next one.
All right, guys, can you hear me? Yeah. This next one is, what do we want? And you return back with safe school. When do we want it? Now. So let's try that. What do we want? Safe school. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Safe school. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Safe school. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Safe school. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Safe school. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Safe school. When do we want it? Now. All right, and here's that for the next one.
All right, this one's old school. If you're gonna protest a lot, you know this one. We're gonna change up a little bit. I'm gonna say whose schools, and you're gonna answer.
Our school.
There we go. All right, some of you have done this before. Whose schools?
Our school.
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 What do we want?
Safe school.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Safe school.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Safe school.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Safe school.
When do we want it?
Now.
When will we return?
Only when it's safe.
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 Whose schools?
Our school.
Whose schools?
Our school.
Whose schools?
Our school.
Whose schools?
Our school. All right, and we've got one last one that we stole just for today. All right, it's a new one, so listen up. Murphy make the call. Virtual in the fall. So it's going to be a call and response. Murphy make the call.
Virtual in the fall.
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 Whose school?
Our school.
Whose school?
Our school.
Whose school?
Our school.
Murphy make the call.
Virtual in the fall.
All right, so our first speaker is going to be Kelly Morris, one of our NJ21 United strategy team members.
Hi, everybody. So, thank you. John Lewis said it best. Never ever be afraid to make some noise and get into some good trouble. Necessary trouble. Well, folks, I would say that NJ21 United has been doing that all week, and we don't plan on slowing down now. So, as Adam said, my name's Kelly Morris, and I've been a teacher for 30 years. I wanted to be a teacher ever since I was 5 years old, and that was my dream, so that's what I signed up to do. Then one day I was asked to be a parent and teach my students character, ethics, and morals, so I did. Then I was asked to be a social worker and counsel them about suicide, online safety, and bullying, and so I did. Then I was asked, to be a police officer and handle an active shooter situation using my body as a human shield. And I would do this too if necessary. As if all of that wasn't enough, now I'm being asked to be a healthcare worker, to wear a mask and gloves and give out hand sanitizer and wipes all while juggling all my other roles so that I can do what I signed up to do 30 years ago, just teach. Little did I know at the time that I was literally signing my own death certificate. But when I, like every other teacher and support staff member here today, asked just for our safety, for ourselves, our students, and our families, we are told to adapt, to retire, and yes, even to quit. So my question to you is, when does the ask become too much? We are here today because my sentiments echo many of yours, I'm sure. But we are also here in solidarity because today, August 3rd, is National Day of Resistance. Right now, there are 33 other events taking place in all states across the country. Right. Teachers and support staff are joining with parents and community members to demand safe schools. The future of our communities and our families depend on the decisions that will be made in the next few weeks. None of us want to get sick or die. None of us want to lose a colleague, a student, or a family member. So we must continue to fight and make our demands known. Because what we do want, more than anything, is to be in our buildings teaching. Yeah. We also want our students to socialize with their peers, return to their clubs and sports, and continue to build their future. But at what cost? We will return to our schools buildings, but in a little while, we're going to head out of this parking lot and make our way to the governor's office. Please help us make a hell of a lot of noise when we pass the governor's office. We want to make sure that Governor Murphy hears us literally. All week, you've been getting into some good trouble, so much so that we've had an extremely high police presence at our events. We couldn't have pulled this off without each one of you, so thank you. Thank you for making the phone calls, blasting Twitter, taking over bridges, and storming the county superintendent's offices. My fellow NJ21 United and NJEA members, this is what grassroots unionism looks like. Let's go make some noise and get into big trouble.
When do we go back?
On the United States.
When do we go back?
On the United States.
When do we go back?
On the United States.
When do we go back?
On the United States.
My name is Kayla, and I'm from Trenton, New Jersey. I'm a student. Better? Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah. Hi. My name is Kayla, and I'm a student at Shore Beauty School. I am from Bridgeton, New Jersey, and I'm here today to say that we should only open schools when they are safe. As someone who unfortunately had to go through the process of having COVID-19, I can say that despite the fact that people say that young people cannot be affected by this, I can tell you that they can. It was the scariest experience of my life. I went days without eating and days that I thought I was not going to make it to see my family again. It was really scary. There's a car, a couple cars down, that says, who's going to pay for the grieving counseling for our students, our staff, and families? And I present that to you. When someone loses their friend in school, their teacher, especially in inner cities where we do not have the opportunities that other people have, who is going to pay for the therapy for them? Who is going to be looking out for them? We need to fight for them and make sure that schools are opened only when it's safe.
What do we want?
Safe school.
When do we want them?
Now.
What do we want?
Safe school.
When do we want them?
Now.
My name is Jennifer.
My name is Jennifer. My name is Jennifer Zuniga, and I'm also from Princeton, New Jersey. And as many know, Princeton, New Jersey is predominantly Black and brown students. Our schools are completely filled to the point that we are missing seats. Some of our students have to find seats from other classrooms. So I don't know how this is going to work for everyone else if we have to go back. There is no way that we could social distance. My community has faced many deaths. Many students are mourning their parents' deaths right now. And when parents have to get back their children to these schools, they will be getting their children in caskets at this point. We have to return only when it's safe. It's not safe right now, and we're only going to have the number for our rates are only gonna go high. It's not safe right now.
My name is Melissa Tomlinson, and I have a statement from Robin Corgan, the Relentless School Nurse. She wanted to make it here today, but her schedule was a little too packed, so she wrote something for us. Due diligence, we have to ask ourselves, in good faith, the school buildings open this fall? We don't have a clear answer. Nevertheless, the majority of schools appear to be looking forward to welcome students back for face-to-face learning despite increasing COVID-19 cases and community spread. Consequently, we must confront a frightening yet imminent reality. Schools are the next frontline of COVID-19 with school nurses as the first responders. I have been feeling a sense of foreboding and that we have been asked to do something profoundly unsafe. When I shared my perspective with the journalist from the New York Times, I found out my concern with this statement. I'm just going to say it. It feels like we're playing Russian roulette with our kids and our staff.
We are, that's right.
I cannot feel that it is very possible to pretend that school buildings reopening in the fall is business as usual, as the president and many of his administration would like us to believe. We need a precision public health approach to protect ourselves and our students from COVID-19. We need leaders who center the safety of children, not partisan posturing. Is there any way that we can agree that the safety of children is paramount? We are missing a national plan. We have no clear plans for testing, tracing, and isolating. We have no large epidemiological studies to fully understand transmission so that we can make decisions based on evidence. I haven't even mentioned the antiquated ventilation systems that cause medication reporting and virus transmissions are very well behaved. Right now, there are only 3 tools we have in our toolbox to keep our students and staff safe at school. Remember the 3 W's. Wear a mask, wash your hands, wash your distance. Yet we are witnessing the death of expertise, a dismissal of the World Health Organization, watered down guidelines from the CDC, and ignoring what is happening right before our eyes. The exponential spiking of cases across the state. Consequential decisions are being made that will impact the health and safety of students and staff. And that is why I said what I said. Remember, the question that must be answered is it safe to reopen school buildings?
No, it's not.
All right, so on Monday, we went and we sent emails and made phone calls to county superintendents, and we got answering machines. On Tuesday, we called Governor Murphy, and we called Pioche, and we got answering machines. The governor turned off the phone. They got tired of hearing from us. Pioche called us back and said, please stop calling us. On Wednesday, we tweeted at them, we sent emails, and we did everything else on social media, and they're still not listening. So on Thursday, we protested on bridges, and they sent cops. On Friday, we went to county superintendent's offices in person, and they weren't there. They were home safe while they're sending us back. So this is the only way we have to get their attention. This is the only way we can make them listen. So make some noise with us, please. Who schools?
Our school!
Who schools?
Our school!
Who schools?
Our school!
Who schools?
Our
When do we want it?
Now!
When do we want?
Stay school!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Stay school!
When do we want it?
Now!
Murphy, make the call. He's not listening. Murphy, make the call. Murphy, make the call.
Neutral in the hall!
I can't hear you. Murphy, make the call.
Neutral in the hall!
All right, we're going to get started with our procession. Kelly's going to explain how this goes.
All right, everybody, so the pace cars are the cars with the star balloons on them. And you're going to be following them in groups of like 10 or 12. So Melissa and I are going to instruct people where to go. Our pace car people need to drive around, and you're going to leave out of this entrance. Okay, so if you would wait while people in the pace cars get going and get over to the other side, that would be great. Then we're going to have everybody else leave out of this entrance right here. So Melissa and I will be down there instructing traffic. All right, so if the people in the pace cars can go now and get on the other side, all right, then we should be good. All right, everybody else is going to stay on this side and line up in this row. But give them a minute to move. Thank you.
All right. That was good. Sorry, I was away from the camera for a little bit. What I will do while speeches go on is I kind of work the crowd a little bit and hand out flyers. That's what I was doing here. It's New Jersey Revolution Radio flyers here handing around the crowd. Good crowd. I would say in the neighborhood of 150 to 200 people, maybe. I think that's a good estimate. They're really spread out. People were taking really good precautions. I didn't get a chance to really show you the crowd because it was a relatively, short speech session. But what I'm really glad about is that people were, definitely taking the time and the caution to socially distance themselves. So I'm walking around here right now, and I'm taking a look as they line up these cars here, and maybe we'll try and just get a few more reactions. Maybe a shot as they kind of line up here. We'll walk along the motorcade. All right, and we'll see if we can't get a few more people just to shout a message to Governor Murphy on their way out here. A lot of cars. They're already starting to pile out a little bit here. Trying to figure out. There they are. Okay. I got a plan here. We'll have people shout a message to teachers are not following directions very well here at New Jersey Revolution Radio. As they get ready to start the procession here, you're lining them up this way, and they're. Oh, okay. And then you're right, but it's all going to come out. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up over there and tell people they can shout at Governor Murphy at this camera as they're on their way out. Okay. That'll be their thing as they pull out. Thank you. And what we'll do is we'll make sure that all of our comrades, as they pass by this camera, know that they can send a message to Governor Murphy as they drive by. And let's see what they say, and then we'll record that, and then we'll get out of here for the day. It's a good protest. I enjoyed the speeches. It's an energetic crowd. Teachers are always positive, they really are. All right. So hopefully Governor Murphy will see some of this as they start to drive by.
Only when it's safe.
Murphy, make the call! Virtual for the fall! Murphy, make the call! Virtual for the fall! Only when it's safe! Only when it's safe! Safe schools! Our schools! Safe schools! Our schools! Safe schools! Our schools! Murphy, make the call! Virtual for the fall!
Please learn from other people's mistakes.
So hi everybody, just letting you know, we're streaming here as people come out of the parking lot, but there's a light. And I don't think anybody timed this light very well. So not many cars are getting out at one given time. We'll see as they come by. People want to say hi to Governor Murphy on camera.
Only when it's safe!
Governor Murphy, sign the ESP legislation that's sitting on your desk, please. We need protection.
Only when it's safe. My children need their mother too.
Governor Murphy, one child, one educated death is way too much.
Hashtag don't kill us.
It's safe.
Safe. You've done so far, but please do the right thing. Don't make us experiments. If restaurants can't be open, schools can't be open.
The camera's live streaming if you want to say something, Phil.
Keep them closed. Only when it's safe.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Safe.
want to say something to Phil Murphy? We're live streaming on that camera right there. It's like, you know, pretty cool.
Need you to support schools now by keeping them virtual.
live stream there. If you want to say hi to Governor Murphy on your way out. Live stream if you want to say hi to Governor Murphy. All right, so that's the last car out, basically. And it's a little earlier than I thought we'd get out of here, so I'm kind of glad. A really good protest. They're going to be driving around the State House now, so you got to look at the motorcade and the cars as they came out there. Heard some speakers earlier on, and they're going to go in front of the State House, and we'll be putting out some pictures and some other stuff later in the protest. Edited clip later on. So we appreciate you hanging out here on New Jersey Revolution Radio and checking us out today. If you're interested in us coming out to your event and doing some coverage and putting together some clips and interviewing people and getting your message out there, let us know. You can always email us info@njrevolutionradio.com. This is Brian Powers, and I'll remind you all that police can quit their jobs. Peace.